Wow, did you guys just hear what ChatGPT said? Like, that is the total opposite of what the media says. Debunk Weekly with Lily J.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey guys, so my messages this last week have been absolutely flooded with videos that you guys have sent me that you want me to watch and discuss. So I'm super excited to get into this today. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so this next video is from Ramen Matthews. Let's give it a watch.
If a Christian opens fire on a bunch of innocent civilians, it's pretty easy to see the daylight between that and what not only Jesus preached, but how Jesus lived.
Yeah.
For example, let me give you, and I've talked about this quite a bit. If someone commits murder, right, mass murder, and they say, I'm doing it because I'm a white Christian fundamentalist, which almost pretty much never happens.
Hang on a minute. Let me just stop it right there. Hey, ChatGPT, I've just got a quick question. What was the worst religious hate mass gun shootings in the last decade?
The deadliest religious hate mass shooting in the last decade was the Christchurch mosque shootings in New Zealand on March 15, 2019. A Christian gunman killed 51 people and injured many others during Friday prayer at 2 mosques.
Wow. Okay, let's just narrow it down a little bit more because this guy in the video is American. So let's have a little look in his backyard, shall we? In America, in the last 5 years, how many mass shootings have there been?
According to Gun Violence Archives, there have been over 2,500 mass shootings in the United States in the past 5 years.
Wow, that is a lot. How many of these have been Muslim?
Based on available data, Muslim shooters have been responsible for fewer than 1% of these incidents.
Wow. What about Christians? How many have been Christian?
Roughly, it's estimated that around 60 to 70% of mass shooters in the US over the past 5 years have been Christian.
That is a big number. I was not expecting that. But I just want to make a point. Like, I'm not trying to say that Christianity promotes violence and promotes terrorism. Like, that's not it at all. We all know Christianity is a religion of peace. Why can't the same view be applied to Islam as well? Islam is a religion of peace too. We all know that. So yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. Let's keep watching.
But if they do it, you go, okay, hold on a second. Did Jesus preach that? No. Okay. Did Jesus kill anybody? No. Did he mass murder anybody? No. Did he call for the death of No. All right.
Hang on a second. Did Jesus ever call for the death of anybody?
Yes. In Luke 19:27, Jesus says, "But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me."
Wow. Was Jesus ever violent?
It could be said that Jesus displayed violence when he drove out merchants from the temple, overturning tables and using a whip, as described in John 2:15.
Does the Bible say it's okay to kill? Are there any verses in the Bible about killing and violence?
Yes, the Bible contains verses that permit or command killing in certain contexts. For example, Exodus 21:17 states, "Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death." And 1 Samuel 15:3 commands, "Now go and attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys."
Wow. Does the Quran ever mention anything similar to this?
The Quran does contain verses that discuss warfare and punishment, but they are generally within the context of self-defense, justice, or historical battles. Unlike the Bible's Old Testament, where some verses command killing entire populations, the Quran does not call for the indiscriminate killing of non-believers, but rather limits warfare.
Okay, so in percentage-wise, which book speaks more about violence, the Quran or the Bible?
Studies indicate that the Bible contains more references to violence than the Quran, with the Old Testament having 5.3% violent content, the New Testament 2.8%, and the Quran 2.1%.
Wow, did you guys just hear what ChatGPT said? Like, that is the total opposite of what the media says. All right, well, moving on.
If you have an Islamic terrorist saying we're going to oppress women, okay, did Muhammad? Yes.
Did Prophet Muhammad oppress women? Hey, ChatGPT, did Prophet Muhammad ever oppress women?
No, Prophet Muhammad elevated the status of women, granting them rights that were revolutionary for their time, including rights to inheritance, education, and protection, and explicitly forbade oppression or mistreatment of women.
Point, I'm really confused. Like, this video we're watching, what are they trying to achieve? Are they just trying to spread hate, or does this man genuinely not know what he's talking about. Like, honestly, guys, in this day and age, it is so easy to fact check what you read and what you watch online. Just grab Google, grab ChatGPT, and find it for yourself. Also, guys, I have done a bit of research on this topic, and there are so many hadiths that give women ridiculous rights. Like, it is actually scary. Like, a lot of my friends' husbands are like, don't share this information with my wife. I don't want to know how many rights she has in Islam. Like, it's actually insane. A woman has a right to accept or reject a marriage proposal. A woman can work, she can buy, she can sell, she can own property. A woman cannot be inherited against her will. It is not lawful for a man to take anything that is his wife's without her permission. Anything she owns, anything she works for, anything she earns is all hers. The man cannot touch it. Also, it says that seeking knowledge is an obligatory on all Muslims, men and women. So women have a right to an education. They have a right to knowledge to learn. This is just revolutionary to the time. There are hadiths explicitly talking to men saying you have to look after your wife and treat her with kindness. The best man is the best to his wife. It also says in one of the hadiths that men and women are equal partners. There's no superiority over one another in a relationship, in a marriage, except in righteousness. And then when you talk about mothers, the Prophet said, paradise lies under your mother's feet. When he talks about mothers, he says 3 times, you must prioritize your mother 3 times before your father. Another hadith, this is one of my favorites. So one of my friends, her name is Georgia, she used to use this all the time. If a woman doesn't like one of her husband's friends, she has the right not to allow him in her house. You can't force your wife to do anything. You can't even force her to wear hijab. There is no compulsion in religion. This is just off the top of my head that I can think of. There is so many verses and so many hadiths that give women rights. Honestly, I feel bad for the men. All right, so I just want to flip it for a second and look at it from a different perspective. So is there any hadith that say Prophet Muhammad promotes cruelty to women?
No. There is no hadith where Prophet Muhammad promotes cruelty to women.
How about how men treat their wives? Is there anything that says men can oppress their wives?
In Islam, men are given the responsibility of providing for and protecting their wives, with guidelines that emphasize kindness, respect, and fairness.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, ChatGPT. Let's move on.
If they say we're actually going to kill people who are apostates or Jews, did Muhammad do that? Yes, he did. Killing Christians and Jews? He did it.
Really? Hey, ChatGPT, did Prophet Muhammad ever personally kill anyone?
No. Prophet Muhammad never personally killed anyone in battle or otherwise.
So how many wars did Prophet Muhammad participate in?
Prophet Muhammad himself actively participated in 9 major battles, all of which were either in self-defense, preemptive to prevent greater conflict, or aimed at securing peace with minimal bloodshed.
Can you give me an example of one of his wars?
Certainly. The conquest of Mecca was Prophet Muhammad's final major battle, prompted by the Meccans breaking the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Despite facing his biggest enemies, instead of a violent conquest, the city surrendered peacefully with minimal resistance. The Prophet offered amnesty to the majority of the Meccans, emphasizing forgiveness and unity.
Wow, that's really interesting. So just to get this straight, whenever war is mentioned in the Quran, it's about self-defense?
Yes, when war is mentioned in the Quran, it is often in the context of self-defense, where fighting is permitted only when the Muslim community is attacked or oppressed, with the goal to protect faith and ensure peace.
In the Quran, how many verses mention killing?
There are around 5 verses in the Quran that mention killing, with 3 highlighting the severity of unjust killing, and 2 discussing it in the context of self-defense during wartime.
Wow, only 2 verses in the entire Quran talk about killing in like some kind of war self-defense way. This is just crazy. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep doing this because the more I watch, the more I learn. So if you have a video that you want me to discuss, please send it to me and I'll see you guys next week. What do you guys think?